Shalom.
Shalom.
This is
Say shalom.
Waco Israel Ministries. We do thank and praise the Most High. Ahayah, bahashem Yashayah wa ruach kudash for this understanding, and we are happy to be here on the Holy Sabbath. Okay. Go into Luke 8 tonight. Luke 9. Before we do that, I want to go to the Matthew 5, not Matthew 5, Matthew 10:5.
Okay. Matthew 10:5. All right. Okay, let's go to the book of Matthew. Matthew, chapter 10, 5. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on, let me get this over. Placement, Luke. Okay, Matthew 10, 5. These 12 Yashayah sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans, same people, enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
So when Christ was on the earth, he wasn't dealing with essentially anyone else but his people. It didn't say go to everybody before he died. And everybody wasn't included until the Gentiles, Cornelius opened the door for the Gentiles to come in. But before that, the Messiah was not dealing with everybody.
Right. And also, I want to expound on that too, Joshua. The Christians get this mixed up. Well, they say, well, Paul came, he was a Christian. And, and he brought, that to everyone else. Yes, he did. He brought the truth to everyone else. He brought the law. He brought the Sabbath. He brought the feast to everyone else in his churches. None of his churches did not keep the law and the Sabbath and the feast. All of them did. All of them did. Okay, I just wanted to give you a hand in that. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so Christ during his earthly ministry was dealing with the healing and the restoration spiritually of the children of Israel, who are the Negroes and Hispanics. So go to Luke 21.
All right. Let's see what Luke 21 says. Let's see if.
Now we're going to give you the prophecy of how.
Come on, Joshua.
How the Negroes got into what is called Africa.
All right. You're right, because this is a scripture that I was taught wrong in Christianity when they brainwashed me and told me that this was a future event. And they're way out of whack with it. Okay, let's find out. You want to start in the beginning, Josh? 21. Luke 21, first verse.
Wait, Luke 20. No.
20, Josh.
Luke 21 and 20.
All right, we'll go to 20. All right, Luke 21, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, that's the Edomite armies.
So Christ clearly said that when his people saw Jerusalem compassed with an army, he said he would tell him what? To flee? Read? So this prophecy took place already. This is not going to happen.
Exactly, because how could it be now that the Hebrews are not in Israel? Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
So when you see these armies, just like they surround the children of Israel today with their military and their police, that was a sign that Christ is coming again. Whenever you see Israel start to be surrounded with an army, that means Christ is going to return.
That's right. At that time, right. Right? Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
So those mountains are referring to the Atlas Mountain
region
in Africa.
That's right.
Around Morocco.
And tell them, Josh, go to the ancient maps and you'll see that Jerusalem is part of Africa. Okay. Flee to the mountains and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. Go, run. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein. Don't come back. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them woe unto them. Wait, I lost my place. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
So there would be great wrath and torment upon the children of Israel.
Not the Khazarians that are in Israel now. That has nothing to do with that.
Again, this prophecy that we're reading about in Luke 21, starting with verse 20, is a past tense prophecy. This happened already.
All right.
And once something happens, it cannot be repeated.
All right. All right. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
So when the Roman armies, it's documented, conquered and besieged and conquered Jerusalem under Vespasian and Titus, they utterly destroyed Jerusalem.
And here's the answer to
they tore down, just like Christ said, you shall not see this building here unless it's stone upon stone.
Wow.
And they utterly destroyed the temple in Jerusalem, which would have been Herod's temple.
Now what's this? Now how can this be today coming? Right, Josh?
So you shall fall by the edge of the sword, and it's almost it's documented that the ones that did not flee, did not obey Christ's warning, were killed by the Roman army. And again, we know that happened. It's still happening today.
Come on.
The slavery, the murder, this is still happening, but in a different way. But it's still here.
That's right.
In a slight, let's say people see it differently because we don't live in a time of chattel bondage as we would know it, meaning chains, whips, hunt dogs chasing people. That's not what we're in right now, but the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, are still in a form of chattel bondage.
A fallen state, that's right. Check this out. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword. What's this? And shall be led away captive.
So they shall be what?
Led away captive.
So captive means into slavery.
Yeah.
Meaning
can't be the ones there
after they were conquered, they were sold into slavery in the old Roman Empire. Now, in Europe, what happened was the Renaissance happened, or the rebirth of Esau happened in the Renaissance. So what happened was, that's how the Europeans started slave trading, really. But they weren't. What would happen was, they would go to war with the Israelites, like King James and them, and they would conquer them, and they would keep them in Europe as slaves.
That's right.
So then, and don't forget the Arab slave trade that happened way before the transatlantic slave trade, about 1,000 years before, or 1,200 years before. Research that too.
Wow.
So then they would be brought here in from Africa to America by slave ships controlled by Jewish people. So they would be, read?
What's this? Into all nations. So it can't be the people there today. It's not them. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
Of the who?
The Gentiles.
So Gentiles are trotting down Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are in Israel are not the Israelites.
That's right. We just read it to you. Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Yeah, Josh. So there it is.
Now we're going
only one scripture. There it is, right, Tom? Right there.
Now we're going to turn to
Right there.
Luke chapter 9.
Josh, this is the problem with the Christian church, Joshua. They got away from the Bible and they listened to Tony doctrines of men and philosophy in their church. And that's why they can't see the truth. And guess what? The longer you stay in these pagan churches, the longer it's going to be harder for you to come out and come into truth. We're not a ministry that's wanting you to come out of the Christian church. By now, if you know that they're not telling you the truth, you have to make a decision soon. You do. You can't stay in poison and listen to truth at the same time. Didn't Christ say you can't serve one master? You can't serve two masters. Either you're what? You hate the one? Yeah, just love the other, right?
Right.
You can't serve two. You got to make a choice up soon. How can you hear such truth like this and then go back in there with the yelling and screaming and not learning it? That's the government of this world. They want you docile. They don't want you to know who you are. And that's why when they meet people like us, they get uptight and they have to just talk because they don't know what they're talking about. Because it tells us right away they don't do their research. And they hate their own people. Most of them hate their own people. If there was a black family, Afro-American family, listen to us, in the church, and they went to the pastor and told him, you know what? We've been listening to the truth for a couple of months. You're lying to us. He'll tell them to leave. Instead of being an honest man, right, and sitting down, right? Well, once you know, an honest man, an honest preacher would go, all right, why don't you show me the scriptures? Because maybe I missed something, right? That's all. No, they won't do that. They'll tell you to get out. What did Christ say? They'll count you as what? Scum? Well, Mary?
Luke chapter 9.
Again, Mary, stop.
Then he called his 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority over all devils and to cure diseases.
Listen to this. What's this? See the word power? Christ. This is Christ talking to them, not God. He's not God, Christ. And gave them the most high power. He gave them power from the Father, right, Tony?
Yep.
Authority over all devils and to cure diseases. And he sent them to preach the kingdom of the Most High and to heal the sick. So what is the kingdom of the Most High? Tell them, Josh. What's the kingdom?
The people.
It's in you. That's what they lost out on. And to heal the sick. And he said unto them, take nothing for your journey, neither staves, nor scrip, neither bread, neither money, neither have two coats apiece. Look at that. And whatsoever house ye enter into, there abide. That's what we're going through right now. We're meeting a lot of resistance with some people. Go ahead, Mary.
Thence depart, and thence depart, And whosoever will not receive you,
Like yesterday, Josh, go ahead.
when you go out of that city,
Uh-huh.
shake off the very dust from your feet.
Forget about them.
For
That's right, Josh, for the testimony.
testimony against them.
No, debate with them.
No.
Tell them the scriptures. You walk on in darkness. There is no light in you.
And they departed.
Go ahead.
Went through this town preaching
The true word.
gospel and healing every.
Josh, tell them why there was healing. Why was there healing going on? 12 years before Christ showed up, right? Jerusalem was in turmoil with the Roman Empire, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Josh. Go ahead.
So Israel, Christ basically gave you a rule of thumb. When someone doesn't receive the truth, when you leave, shake the dust from your feet, and that will be a judgment upon them. Because really what that's saying is they're no better than dirt.
Because if you're going to stand there, you have truth, which I've come into a lot of understanding about who I'm talking to now. And Josh, my son, is really a great teacher. He told me too the other day, we have to be very tentative and very careful how we approach the Most High's people. No, we do. We do, Josh. Because, if they really, really, like almost like lost in this understanding, and they are, most of them, we got to be careful how we speak to them. Because I sure don't want to ruin someone, or chase them, Right? Yeah. All right, what verse are we in? Okay.
7.
Want to read, Josh?
Hmm.
All right, ready? Verse 7. Oh, hold on. The death of John the Baptist. Now Herod, the tetrarch, heard of all that was done by him, and he was perplexed. Perplexed.
Uh-huh.
Perplexed. No, it's same thing. Because that it was said of some that John was risen from the dead, and of some that Elijah had appeared.
So people were saying that these were reincarnations.
Come on.
That Christ was like
good judge,
a reincarnation of people.
Wow. And Elijah had appeared, and of others, that one of the old prophets was risen again. Again,
And Herod said, John I beheaded. But who is this of whom I hear such things? And he desired to see him.
Wow.
And the apostles went, when they were returned, told him all that they had done. And he took them and went aside privately into a desert place belonging to the city called Bethsaida.
Bethsaida, that's right. And the people, when they knew it, followed him. And he received them and spake unto them of the kingdom of the Most High. Now these people wanted to hear, and healed them that had need of healing. And when the day began to wear away, then came the 12 and said unto him, send the multitude away, that they may go into the towns and country round about and lodge, and get victuals, for we are here in a desert place. But he said unto them, give ye them to eat. And they said, we have no more but 5 loaves and 2 fishes, except we should go and buy meat for all this people.
They didn't believe that they had the power to perform miracles, because just in the first verse, Christ gave them power to heal, or power to perform supernatural. Excuse me. He gave them authority to do supernatural actions. So read.
For they get married.
For they were about 5,000 men And he said to his disciples, make them sit down by 50.
You know what?
50s in a company.
Okay.
And they did so and made them all sit down.
Then he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, he blessed them and brake and gave to the disciples to set before the multitude. And they did eat and were all filled. And there were taken up of fragments that remained to them 12 baskets.
So there was so much people, they left 12 basketfuls of leftovers.
Josh, tell them why this? Why was Christ healing people? Why was he telling the disciples to heal? It's completely different what they tell the Christian church today. To get known, to be an evangelist, get popular. It has nothing to do with that. When you're reading this Bible, you're reading about Hebrews, you're reading about black people, you're reading about Christ's own people. That's who you're reading about. You're not reading about you. It has nothing to do with you. Can you come into the kingdom? Yes, you can, but there's some things you have to do. You can't just, like that song. What's that song, Mary? Get on board. Don't cost no money, just get on board. No, it not cost no money, but it costs a lot of time and research to find out who people are and what happened to them. What verse are we in?
18. And it came to pass as he was alone praying, his disciples were with him, and he asked them, saying, whom say the people that I am? Mm-hmm. They answered and said, John the Baptist, but some say Elijah, and others say that one of the old prophets is risen again.
Okay. He said unto them, but whom say ye that I am? Peter answering said, the Mashiach, the Most High.
So basically, Christ, Peter, they asked Christ, who are you? Some say you're John the Baptist. Now when he was saying, they said, some say you are John the Baptist, those people are actually saying that Christ was John the Baptist. Because those people were suggesting that he was a reincarnation of John.
Wow.
Or Elijah, or the prophet. So they were saying that Christ was anybody. They were saying that he was John, Elisha.
Whatever.
Read.
For Yashayah foretells his death. And he straightly charged them and commanded them to tell no man that thing, saying, the Son of Man must suffer many things, and we must suffer too, all of us, and be rejected of the elders and chief priests and scribes.
In other words, Christ's doctrine will always be
suffering. That's right.
Be rejected by the theologians and the religious leaders.
Even today in your Christian church, that's right.
Uh-huh.
And be slain and be raised the 3rd day. And he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his tree daily and follow me. For whosoever shall save his life shall lose it. In other words, if you live for this world and you stay in religion, you're going to lose it. But whosoever will lose his life for my sake, and the same shall save it. For what if a man advantaged if he gain the whole world and lose himself?
So,
or be cast away.
What is it pointless if you can serve you can't serve 2 masters.
Yeah,
you're either going to love the one or hate the other. So which one do you love? Because you can't love both.
Can't serve 2 masters. Are you trying to get rich in this life and saying as a Christian, and you're telling people that it's Christ blessing you? It's not, because his doctrine never tells you that. There's nowhere with this, what, 100-fold, 60-fold, 30-fold, has nothing to do with money.
So Christ was plainly telling this man that you can't follow any part of the world and me at the same time.
That's right.
Read.
For whosoever shall
Be
ashamed of me and of my works.
Stop. Look at that, Mary. For whosoever, look at this, Tony, shall be ashamed of me and my words. The Christian church is ashamed of him. Josh said a good one day. If Christ was to come back right now, they wouldn't receive him. They would not receive him. Because he'd be black, first of all, brown, dark brown. Yeah, Mary.
Of him shall the Son of Man be
Good.
ashamed.
That's right.
When he shall come in his own glory and in his
Fathers
and of the holy angels.
But I tell you of a truth, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death, wow, till they see the kingdom of the Most High.
In other words, they'll
be alive.
They won't taste the second death either.
Oh, okay. Well, good, Josh.
But they'll be there with the Most High in paradise.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome.
And it came to pass about an eighth day after these sayings, he took Peter and John and James and went up into a mountain to pray.
And as he prayed, the fashion of his countenance was altered. What's this? And his raiment was white as glittering, white and glittering. Glistening, sorry. And behold, there taught with him two men, which were Moses and Elijah. Wow.
So
wow.
Christ was being transfigured, and
no, it was Christians that talked to Christ.
Christ was being transfigured, and the apostles saw they saw the spirits of Elijah and Moses with Christ when he was illuminated.
Who appeared in glory and spake of his deceased,
which
decrease with
you're right, deceased, which he should accomplish. Yeah.
Should accomplish at Jerusalem.
So they were discussing Christ's mission, that he should go and be the lamb of sacrifice for the children of Israel.
Wow.
But Peter and they that were with him were heavy with sleep. And when they were awake, they saw his glory and the two men that stood with him.
Okay. And it came to pass, as they departed from him, Peter said unto him, Yashayah, Master, it is good for us to be here. And let us make the tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah.
So they wanted to make a tabernacle or tents for all three of them. Let's see what happened.
While he thus spake, and not knowing what he said, while he thus spake, there came a cloud and overshadowed them, and they feared as they entered into the cloud. And there came a voice out of the cloud saying, this is my beloved son. No, this is my God. Hear him.
So they were saying he was what the Most High was saying was, don't worry about let's say it right. Moses and the prophets aren't important in comparison to my son.
Come on.
See, they were trying to compare Moses and Elijah or to Christ.
Wow.
And when the voice was past, Yashayah was found alone, and they kept it close and told to men.
No man.
No man in those days and any of those things which they had seen.
Yeah, because he commanded them not to.
Mhm.
And it came to pass.
Wait. Yashayah heals a boy with an unclean spirit. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that on the next day, when they were come down from the hill, much people met him.
Okay. And behold, a man of the company cried out, saying, Master, I beseech thee, look upon my son, for he is my only child. And lo, a spirit taketh him. And he suddenly cried out, and it teareth him, that he foameth again, and busting him, bruising him, hardly departing from him.
Uh-huh.
And I besought thy disciples to cast him out. That's good, you mentioned that about the power.
Mhm.
And they could not. And Yashayah answered, can I have a pen, Mary? And Yashayah answering said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and suffer you? Bring thy son hither. Anyway, oh, is it right? Yeah, that's good, right? That's right. No, give me. Yeah, 20,
41, I think.
41, right, Tony?
Yeah.
No, you read it.
All right, go ahead. What verse?
41.
Go ahead, man.
And
Oh, go ahead.
Yashayah answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and suffer you? Bring thy son hither.
Mm-hmm.
And as he was yet coming, the devil threw him down and tarred him. And Yashayah
Tear him, okay.
tear him. Yashayah rebuked this unclean spirit and healed the child and delivered him again to his father.
And they were all, wait, I read it. I'll read it. And they were all amazed at the mighty power of the Most High. You see, they were amazed, and the disciples were too. You just told them they couldn't, right? So they were like bystanders.
So
You just told them that he gave them power.
the apostles didn't believe that they could do the same thing as Christ could do.
All right, ready?
Uh-huh.
44.
Who is the greatest? Oh, is it 46? Oh, 44.
43.
Oh, 43, okay. And I just read that, Kim. But while they wondered, everyone at all things which Yashayah did, he said unto his disciples, let these sayings sink down into your ears. Look at that. Look at that. Why did he say that? Look at that. Because they weren't really listening, Tony.
Right.
Why did he say, let it sink down in your ears? For the Son of Man shall be delivered into the hands of men. But they understood not this saying. And it was hid from them. Look at that. Why? Because they weren't going to believe it. That they perceived it not, and they feared to ask him of that saying. See? There's going to be a lot of people like this in the last days. They're going to hear him, not going to believe.
Uh-huh.
Who is the greatest? Then arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be greatest. Come
And
on.
Yashayah perceived the thoughts of their hearts, took a child and set him by him, and said unto them, whosoever
That's right, man.
shall receive this child in
In
my name receiveth me.
Wow.
So basically what he was trying to say is, when you come to Christ, you have to have the spirit and the understanding of a child
That's right.
to follow him. In other
Come
words,
on.
you have to believe and trust in him regardless of what everyone else, what other people would say or think.
What does that mean too, Josh? If you don't humble yourself, like what? Like did Christ say? Like a little child.
Mm-hmm.
So when I meet someone, if they're humble, and I know I've met thousands now, hundreds I've met on the street. Many have been, most of them have been humble and listened, but a lot didn't. Most didn't.
And whosoever receiveth me not, receiveth me that sent me. For he that is least among you,
all
the same shall be great.
No, that is least among you all, the same shall be great.
Uh-huh.
He that is not against us is for us. Now, I like this. This is really good. This blesses our ministry. I'll tell you right in here. And it came to pass when the time was come that he should be received up, taken home, Mary. He steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. And in other words, he was determined. And sent messengers before his face. And they went and entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him.
What are you reading?
51, right?
No, 49.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can read 49, and I'll continue, Mary, again.
And John answered and
Sorry.
said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in my name.
Thanks, honey.
And we forbid him because he followed not with us.
Wow, look at that. That's why I went ahead. I'm so excited about reading this. And it came to pass when the time was come that he should be received. Okay, I read that. Ready? So let's go.
50.
Yeah. 53, right, Tom?
50.
No, I read that already.
Yeah,
No, you
yeah,
didn't
50.
read 50.
Yeah, I read.
Oh yeah, he did. He skipped 49.
What did I tell you?
'53.
53, I know.
And they did.
Ready? And they did not receive him because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. And when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Most High, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven? What's this? And consume no mercy, huh? Disciples said.
Boy, these guys.
Right? Even as Elijah did.
Oh yeah.
But he turned and rebuked them and said, Ye know not what manner of spirit ye
So
are.
Christ, the disciples wanted to destroy the towns that rejected the word, but Christ said you can't do that.
That's right. Come on. Go ahead, Mary. 56, honey.
For the Son of Man is not come to
He
destroy
didn't come to
men,
destroy men's lives.
but to save them.
Uh-huh.
And they went to another village.
I can just see him. Ah!
And it came to pass that
I can just see him.
as
Yeah, man.
they went in the way, a certain man and said unto him, Yashayah, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest.
Okay, I'm going to finish reading. All right, Mary, listen to this. Now go. Good, Mary. And Yashayah said unto him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. And that's going to happen to a lot of us.
So in other words, Christ wasn't necessarily living in comfort the whole time.
No, he had
was
a
on earth.
mansion. All the faith teachers say he had a mansion. All the people on TV. What did you read it again? And Yashayah said unto them, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has a mansion, have not where to lay his head. And he said unto another, Follow me. Look at that. Look at that word, man. Look at that. Follow my doctrine, Josh. But he said, Most High, suffer me first, here's the excuse, to go and bury my father. Yashayah said unto him, let the dead bury their dead. You know what he meant by that too? That's spiritual too.
If people like being spiritually dead
Let them stay
and
dead.
lazy, let them be dead.
That's right. Thou and preach, but go thou and preach the kingdom of Ahayah. The spirit has to be
So in
in
other
you.
words, you can't worry necessarily about other people.
Come on,
because that
Josh.
will hinder you from reaching other people.
Right. Because if they're not living right, they're going to draw you into them, into what they're doing wrong. And another also said, Mosai, I will follow thee, but let me first go and bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. And Yashayah said unto him, no man, having put his hand, look at this, watch this, that starts out ministering for him, that's my own italics, and looking back into the world like, what's his name, that became a pillar of salt? Hello?
Lot's wife.
Lot's wife, Tony, very good. Is not, okay, Mary, finish it. Is not,
Having put his hand to the plow.
that's right.
And looking back.
Like she did,
Fit
is
for
not,
the kingdom of God.
is
Ahayah.
fit for,
Not fit.
well, is means, in an explanation, is not fit, same thing.
It's fit.
Right.
for the-
Because if you look,
The isn't fit. but-
yeah, it's okay. It's probably a misprint. So I'll
So-
tell you something.
No, because they translate that from the Latin.
Oh, I
It's
see.
English.
Okay.
So
It was right? It was correct then.
is it?
Yeah.
They just didn't put the NT there.
Mm-hmm.
So if we put our hands to the plow and
Okay.
if we put our hands to the plow, in other words, we start in this work and go back to the way we used to be, meaning we turn away from the truth and we go back into what we were before we found the truth. The kingdom is not for you.
Very good, Josh. See, that this is all blended in now. What we said in the beginning of the program was true. If you come into truth and you find it and you don't do nothing back to religion, and you'll get more poison.
So
It'll be too late.
absolutely. So
I know those are hard words, but it's true.
we do thank the Most High again for the
You
Sabbath.
want to show them a video tonight,
Uh,
Prophet?
we do thank and praise the Most High, Ahayah, and His
Yes.
Son Yashayah always for unlocking this truth to us.
Yes.
And Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.